Hello and welcome back, everybody, for Game 3 and the maximum 11th game possible for North American League of Legends today. We got Supernova taking on TLC, and it is 1-1 on the scoreboard. Supernova made dominant work in Game 1, and we thought that was going to continue.
That was it.
But no, they had a little sloppy in Game 2, and TLC, they had a better scaling composition, and they just played it cleaner.
They did, and realistically, the biggest single difference was the performance coming out from Roamer between Games 1 and Game 2. Absolutely dismantling Shochi, and then living up to his name and going top lane, going bot lane, being everywhere that he needed to be to make sure that nothing Supernova was going for was going to work. Now, I said at the beginning, during the draft, I loved the mid lane coming through from Kenvi. The confidence to pick that in a situation where you are in playoffs says a lot about the confidence of the player, but didn't work out. And now going into Game 3, we have to see how well Supernova will react to seeing some of their pocket picks not working out at all.
Yeah, and a reminder, this is Fearless Draft, so the first draft looked so strong from Supernova. We'll take a look here in a second to see the champions that are no longer available for either team, because that second draft just wasn't it. They got a big lead for bot lane. Array got like 4 plates, and then the turret rotates topside. They try to make plays there. But then you nailed it right in the head. Roamer's constantly roaming to wherever Array is and just making this Kalista a non-factor. The Talia really shuts down a lot of the comp that Supernova drafted.
Yeah. Now, crucially, neither team will have access to Kalista in this Game 3 because they have both already played it. Additionally, neither team will have an opportunity to look for this Azir that has been so crucial to everything, and it really cuts down on mostly Roamer's champion pool. Talia was the one that we were kind of looking at, and then Game 2, Supernova banned 3 of his champions, and then force him onto Talia. Now they can ban the same 3 champions, and he doesn't have access to that champion. That really pushes him down way down the totem pole.
Or they don't have to ban the Orianna. If they're comfortable blue wanting that,
that is true.
They could just leave that open. That was the kind of next ban for them. Jace makes a lot of sense, but they do decide to take it off the table, so that's probably a Shochi call saying, nope, I don't want it. And he's not going to give the Talia either. So what's the first blue one? Is it just Nautilus? Come on, guys. We can do...
We can do better, guys. The Varus is still available. Smolder has not been touched. I mean, he's probably been banned once, maybe, but Smolder is still available for both sides, and it looks like if the Varus does go over, that will be the plan coming through for Supernova, who can also still pick Senna for themselves, should they... Oh, never mind, they got banned out. This is probably a Smolder coming through from the side of Supernova, daring Team Liquid to pick up some of the champions that they were known for in previous splits.
Yeah, I don't love the Smolder Nautilus lane. It's not the worst.
It's like, why the Nautilus at that point, you know?
Yeah, it just feels odd to see the Nautilus prioritized considering the Varus was up. And now they are hovering the Smolder, so it does feel like that's where they're going here. All right, locked in. Supernova keeping things interesting here on blue side for Game 3. A reminder that the loser of this goes up against Maryville University in their next lower bracket match, which is not an easy team to topple. Supernova lost against them actually last time that they faced off, and they're going to pair it with an Ahri here. So the Ahri Nautilus makes a little more sense to me. It's a lot of pick potential, a lot of like single target, lock this person down, make them have a no good, awful bad game. But Smolder's still going to take some time to come online and kind of back up that.
And it really is going to depend a lot on how you pair things up. Normally the Ahri you see paired with something like the Lee Sin or the Vi in particular. The Xin Zhao is also workable, and this is an opportunity for Supernova to try and lock down the mid lane and really make Roamer have a bad day. Now, the Hui is a character that is not particularly mobile, and it really asks right now for Supernova to try and play something like the Vi, and that means that Team Liquid, with the opportunity to ban it, should make sure that Supernova does not have these easy point-and-click crowd control tools.
Yeah, I'm imagining Vi is going to be on the table here. Outside of that, Xin Zhao has been heavily prioritized in terms of bans from... I think it's actually only Supernova that's been banning that out, if I remember correctly. But either way, Gragas is the takeaway here from Faisal. It's been fun to see the Gragas sneak back into the meta here. We got to see it a lot last series. Not yet this series, but still fun. I do like that champ. So what does Supernova want to ban out then?
You definitely have to look at the top lane, right? Jenkins is someone who has a lot of different picks, and even though this last game was not really about Jenkins, you saw that he was still having a pretty decent time, but there's just a lot of pressure being put towards the top side from both sides of the map. And I think if you shut down something that Jenkins can just feel comfortable potentially blinding or even going for a weird counter picks, you will create a lot of pressure for yourself. And I honestly wonder if the Warwick ban is going to be on the table, because you know that Jenkins would always consider playing it.
Depending on the counter pick, or rather the blind pick from Supernova. Because the nice thing about the Rel is that it is technically flexed. Could be jungle, could be going bot lane for the support role. So maybe they do blind pick top lane and then save that Rel to the last second. I still like the idea of giving Jenkins that counter pick into Faisal instead. Won't have the Cassante or the Renekton, which are two of the kind of premier blind pick top laners right now. And banning the Kennen really makes me think that Supernova believes that they're going to have to blind pick their top laner, because Kennen can be a very annoying counter pick.
And Kennen is also something that you generally see coming from Jenkins as a bit of a specialist, right? Even though it was something that he played a long time ago, it's not something we've seen for a while. And the Cassante coming through as well, just generally an all-around fairly safe pick. No.
That is why we don't talk about hovers, Josh. Don't look at the bottom left of your screen. I want to talk about the Cassante.
It would not be the first time we've seen 80 LeBlanc top into Cassante.
Really? Do we actually have to talk about that? Well, wait. They got a couple seconds left. The Cassante's locked in early for TLC as opposed to saving their counter pick for the last. I suppose I don't hate that. It is still a pretty safe blind pick, but that means that they're really going to need to get value for either Keel or Kim down here, depending on what they want to go for. It's going to be Graves locked in for Kenvi. We've seen Graves occasionally sprinkle in, but he has not been as popular of a jungler as he has in past splits.
And a big part of it is the fact that you can't do as much, and this I actually suspect is a Zac top lane. Yeah, this is something where we have seen a little bit of in the past, and Keel is going to be the one who finally gets the Kindred.
Okay.
So it is going to be a lot of marksman on marksman action, but there's a fantastic engage tools coming out from Supernova. They have a lot of control over when fights start, and that will help them out quite a bit, in particular when trying to stack up this Smolder. Now, we cannot do the same thing that we saw previously where Smolder was allowed to just free stack, and he hit the 225, I believe, at like 21 minutes in our previous series. We need to make sure the Smolder is kept in check, and then you can run over the rest of the game.
And a Varus Rel lane is able to do that. Factor a Kindred on top of it, can look for dives. If you're level 6, you have the Lamps of Spite to tank up those extra turret shots, as long as you're also not keeping your opponent alive from the dive. So they have options here. I do like that game plan from TLC. Game 2 was much better from Spawn and Kim down than Game 1, but it still wasn't them winning lane. That will require a different look from TLC than we saw in the last 2 games, and what we've seen from the most split. It has been more of the Keel Jenkins Roamer show. Spawn Kim down might need to step up a little bit more here to keep this Smolder down, because a loss here means you're up against MU. A win means you continue in the upper bracket and keep your hopes alive of making that championship run. We're loaded onto the Rift for Game 3 of Supernova versus TLC.
And I do gotta reiterate, I really like this Zac top lane pick coming through for Faisal. It is... Oh. Alright, Kim down just going to be forcing Kenvi out of that one. But the big thing about this Zac is it actually has a lot of tools for going for duels, especially when you have access to the lane where you're constantly going to be on top of each other. You are able to use that Q to be very good harass and also sustain for yourself going into Jenkins. And it is a matchup where you actually have surprising burst damage coming through as this Zac. Every time you go for one of those Qs, you just use an E immediately on top, and then you also just get a little bit of your HP back every single time. So we'll get to see how familiar Faisal is with this style of play, and it's very obvious to me that he has some information about how to play this, because it looks like he might be proxying from the very beginning of the game.
Interesting. Also, notable, Zac's very good into tanks. His W having percentage max HP damage on it makes it so Cassante quite annoying to actually win trades. Zac has been able to, in the past, actually solo kill other tanks. That 1v1 matchup. Gets a ward down, so they'll see where Keel is starting. And they'll give a little bit more information to Supernova, but finally we're scrapping. See TLC coming out a little bit ahead here. They dropped the ward down. So Diamond's actually taking a lot of damage. Well done, TLC. It seemed like it was just going to be about a handshake of damage, but they do walk out with more.
Yeah, and it's just a raw read coming out from Kim down. He just uses the crash down immediately into the bush, and that creates a lot of space. But We gotta watch where the junglers are going. Both Keel and Kenvi going to clear out the red and the Krugs, and then they will go ahead and switch right on back towards the other side. We saw some very inventive things coming through from Kenvi in his Kindred game. Will Keel be trying to do something more interesting with his tapping on this map at all?
I feel like this might be one of the only jungle matchups where we had a chance of getting 2 Kindreds played in one best of 3. I do love seeing this champ. One of the more fun junglers to track just because of how much that little mini game of how many stacks you get will impact your impact into the actual game itself. So currently full clear top side into the bot side. Kenvi is answering with an opposite clear, going from bots to top, as Faisal's actually pushing Jenkins in here, so I don't expect too much aggression up there. Maybe they look for a dive, but it's always scary against a Cassante.
Yeah, instead there's a potential look for a dive down here on the bottom side of the map as they are pushing the Smolder in. There is a big wave here they're trying to clear, but it's not going to be in time.
And it's Kim Down that tanks up initially. Big CC onto Array. First blood claimed by Spawn. And right as I said it, expectations. TLC needed to play around their bot lane in a way that they had not yet done this series. Hey, it gets some first blood.
Yeah, and Shochi also taking a lot of damage here in the mid lane, trying to clear things out, and Kenvi not able to recreate the success on the bottom side of the map. This looked like it could have gone very bad for the side of Team Liquid Challengers, but they are able to get all of the crowd control, and Array choosing to hold the cleanse the entire time, not cleansing the crowd control, not cleansing the ignite at all. That could have been the extra damage necessary to clear this out, but Faisal also very much okay, as he has so much HP. He'll be healing for about 70 every time he actually goes for one of these blobs.
And also important to note there that Keel was the one that tanked the bottom turret first, and then had to flash away to not take the third shot. Very close margins there. Yeah, I think if Array had flashed away, he might have been able to live that, or at least trade one back, but neither here nor there. Back to live here, we see that early kill to Spawn gets them the boot advantage over Array. So even though you still have your summoner spells, it's going to be a rough rest of the laning phase for the little dragon.
Yeah. It's also worth noting, not a lot of Smolder players are still liking the Doran's Ring. A bit surprised that Array is choosing to go for that, as, ooh.
A lot of damage coming in here from Jenkins. It's going to be passive onto Zach, surely.
Oh
no, the healing's too much! No! Faisal! You didn't have to do it to him!
That's absolutely crazy. Don't take the turret shot, but still going to be able to walk out of that with a solo kill. And look, he's got so much healing. Now Keel's trying to find something.
But he's spotted. Jenkins doesn't have Ghost, plus he needs to catch this wave. Faisal's out of there. What an outplay.
And Zach only gets better with time. This champion becomes nigh unkillable by the time everybody has 3 items. So Keel just has to go right on over towards the Void Grub's going to be getting the first one for his team. But Supernova trying to make sure that that is all he gets.
Keel was spotted on this. He didn't know that there was a ward there. He tried to be sneaky and jump over the wall rather than showing on the cleared Scuttle Crab, but Kenvi's the wiser, and he will push him off. Array gets stunned up, knocked up, still has flash, and can even just flap over the wall, so he's fine.
Still, Supernova, they do manage to get 2 grubs for themselves, and now Diamond also looking. Shochi has unfortunately not been able to live up to some of the expectations on characters other than Karma so far this series. It really has been Roamer having a lot of control over all of the fights that they have been going for, and it will start mattering quite a bit because Wei will do a lot of damage later. And Ari, you know, we were talking about how you don't necessarily need to get every CS as a character like Karma. As a character like Ari, it's way more important that you are keeping your farm numbers up so that you have the damage necessary to threaten Spawn, Roamer, and Keel later on in the game.
If you fall behind the power curve on Ari, there's not many other mid laners that feel worse to really fall behind that curve. So Shochi's going to need to keep up the CS numbers. Will not be here to roam for a dragon, so that is just objective spotted by Supernova, but they cannot contest. TLC will pick it up.
Yeah, and Team Liquid Challengers, again, I want to give a big shout out to Spawn and Kim Down for outperforming our expectations of them previously. As now they do have a 20 CS lead, that dive really shutting down Array pretty heavily, and it's also going to affect a lot of his ability to actually get these Dragon practice stacks. The Smolder bucks are going to take a long time for him to actually stack up throughout all the course of this game because he lost out on 5 to 10 of them just in that one dive alone.
And I'm expecting, I don't want to have any spoilers here, Expecting more dives here, Josh. I mean, the Smolder is still very weak early on, has the Summoner spell still, but I mean, TLC was able to pull it off once. Why not try and go for it again? They get the flap out as Diamond is on reset. And we'll be heading towards mid lane. So Array's still alone for a little bit longer. Kendi, meanwhile, is hovering up here on the top half of the map. Oh, I think he was spotted right there.
Yep. Yeah, they definitely know he's here, so it's just going to be showing up, making sure that Faisal can get this crash of the wave off, and then Kenvi will go back looking for something else to farm. But overall, it's really quiet, right? It has just been the dive and then the 1v1 up in the top side of the map, and Keel still seems to think that Kenvi is around, but we know that is just Faisal.
Jenkins is maybe trying to bait Faisal in. With Bomby's Cinder, it helps you push the wave, but it makes it harder for Faisal to actually push against the turret. And the wave's cleared, all out, back! He's just trying to wax a clean shot to safety. Jenkins has the ghost. He's chasing him down. That will at least be the passive. And with Keel here and no teleport for Shochi, that's a kill. Give it to Keel. I assume they want to give it to the Kindred. There we go. Well executed by Jenkins to set up that play.
Really good stuff. He knows that the Ghost is on a much lower cooldown than the Flash and is able to turn things around. As you said, giving more money and I have to imagine a mark over towards the jungler does set him up for success. And Team Liquid Challengers, 8 minutes into the game, already over 1,000 gold between the top lane and the bottom lane, finally having advantages in both of them.
And that's big for top lane because Faisal got the solo kill earlier. Even though Jenkins doesn't get that kill, still puts Faisal a little bit further behind his accelerated early game. And it gets Keel online. Keel didn't have Faisal marked. I saw Kenvi was the one that was marked. So I don't know if Keel actually is in terms of marks. Kai, our incredible observer, if we could actually take a look at that. I want to see Kindred stacks here. Only one. Interesting.
Yeah.
So Keel's actually pretty behind the Kindred stacking curve right now.
We didn't pay attention, but I don't remember who won the coin flip on whether Keel or Kenvi was able to get the first mark, because we were busy looking at other things that were happening on the map. But Team Liquid Challengers, they still have a pretty strong position, and like you were calling out, it would not be surprised if more dives happened. And Kenvi, he needs to decide now if he wants to stick around, because Keel will be doing a couple of camps before he makes a visit bot lane. And they spot him out, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like it. Grubs are also up, but so far, no one's looking at them right now. Keel's going for this one. So we're hearing from our observer that Kenvi won the initial scuttle and also has taken away 3 of this camps from Keel.
This is a tough dive.
Up early on. There is the cleanse used. So Ray's fine.
Yeah. Overall, a very tough position for Team Liquid Challengers to try and make this dive happen again. Good cleanse coming through from Array to make sure nothing happened, but they already cleared out the wave. Array still has access to the ultimate, so Mom can come clear that away if they need to, but that does give a lot of time. Supernova do not need to devote nearly as much resources down here to try and make these different plays happen. Keel, as he shows up, it should just be a Mom used on the wave, and we call it good.
It's going to take a Q, if not 2 of them, but yeah, with the Nautilus, they can clear that one out. TLC, they really wanted to make that one work, but all they get is a couple of cooldowns.
Yeah, a bit of a overcommitment perhaps coming through from Team Liquid Challengers, as it does mean that Supernova will be able to pick up these grubs on the top half. And it's also worth noting we have not been seeing Kenvi be nearly as aggressive. I wanted to use the word psychotic, but I decided against it and some of the pathing that he's taken in this game, right? Because before, we were seeing him go for all kinds of crazy things, ending up at his opponent's Krugs early on in the game in order to try and go for these plays, but it has been a much quieter version of Kenvi, and I'm curious how his confidence is doing, because we know that one of the things he's been working on this year in particular has been asking for more from his teammates, asking for more support from them. They move to him, as well as supporting the plays that he wants to make. And if you have your Nidalee just absolutely dunked on like it was in Game 2, that can really shake a lot of players' confidences.
Yeah, especially if you're the one that is making those calls, and we saw Kenvi go for a lot of, as you were going to call them, psychotic plays.
Yeah, but we're not
punished for them. Yeah, we're not going to call them psychotic plays, but if there were a word to aptly describe them, it might be that. Kenvi is this time around going for power farming on the Graves, and hasn't made much happen yet. That's going to be a second dragon going over to TLC. There were the first, I don't know if it was all 3 grubs, but either way, Kenvi gets 3 of those last ones that we just saw, but the early dragon stacking feels great for TLC.
Yeah, and we do have confirmation. It is 5 of the grubs coming through, so congratulations, Supernova Twitch chatters. You are ready to come help out at a moment's notice, and that will give you a lot of ability to take care of all of these structures. But it is still 1,500 gold over to Team Liquid. Around this time is generally where you would trade dragons for that gold, but Team Liquid have both of them this time around, and Jenkins and Five are going to be tussling yet again.
Yeah, Faisal still should just win these. Although, now that I'm looking at the itemization, they both have good burn damage. Oh, Shochi hits the charm, has the backup from Kenby. That's flash from Roamer. He goes down. Shochi picks up the kill and set up the play beautifully.
Right stuff. That'll be at least a plate coming through, and this dive should be tough to make happen. It is solved by Mom as she comes down, but that will be even more pressure on the mid lane, and we're not seeing anything coming up from Keel. In fact, he's having to give ground as Faisal starts hunting for him.
But Faisal's actually in enemy territory right now, very deep in enemy territory. Keel finds Kenby. Shochi's there, and now Faisal with a flank, just flash, ult,
nice.
Charm, follow-up. Keel has time to get the Lamb's Respite down, but does he have the damage to threaten Shochi? Not even close. Faisal takes him down. Shochi might fall to Jenkins, but he's under the turret, all out, all the way there. Array's gonna die bot lane, but a double kill to Faisal.
Teleport
and
going
he's
down bot lane
teleported
as
down.
well.
Faisal's not done. He wants to punish this. Spawn and Kim down are getting hunted right now. Diamond has the flank. Oh, they're not going for it?
Not going for it. Just making sure that the turret does stand up, and after all is said and done, the gold lead remains steady at 1,500 gold. And Team Liquid Challengers, they also give another plate over to Roamer, so they will, potentially find a little bit more in all of that. Crucially, look at Array's CS in this game, only 96. As we take another look at this last fight, it's mostly a really good play from Faisal to guarantee that they get all of the crowd control coming through. Definitely saying, hey, don't charm yet, I will set up your charm. That goes through, and then immediately afterwards, I was very curious on whether or not Jenkins would be able to find this, but the charm almost enough to keep him alive, just barely too much damage to come through.
And I wonder what happened bot side. We get the replay of the end kill, but I'm assuming Diamond was on reset and they just chased Array out from the turret. He still has flash and is now grouped up with the team. So Supernova are going for the Herald. We don't have Jenkins with TLC, so I don't think that they will contest this. Maybe they'll look for a kill instead. It's just Faisal that they see. Keel's got to be careful here. Flash forward from Diamond will get the depth charge. Now Chain of Corruption from the spawn. They're trying to lock down Faisal. It's a lot of damage there onto the Zac. They got the passive and they teleport Jenkins in. Now here comes Shochi. Shochi running through the fight with the help of Array and everybody in tow. That's a shutdown for the Dragon. Shochi will go down, but did a lot of work there for the team as TLC will lose the fight. Supernova pick up some kills.
Some much needed kills. The gold lead has disappeared, but one of the big things we still need to look at here, Genghis, is the fact that we take a look at Smolder stacks. He's only at 81 Smolder bucks. That is way behind the curve of what you're supposed to be at this point in the game. He has not been able to farm. He has not been able to hit opponents with his spells, and Team Liquid Challengers is also tracking this for sure. And ooh,
they spot each other out here actually. Roamer doesn't know that Kenby's here. Does Kenby fancy himself a fight? Dangerous. Roamer is up 2 levels, so Kenby will just back off.
Yeah, they also had Kim down in the wings, but still, so many fights back and forth, and we are back to where we started. Team Liquid Challengers with about 1,000 gold lead. They are getting ready to set up for its upcoming Dragon. Now, the Ocean Soul is really, really good into, lethality builds, but it's not actually going to be that much of a difference coming in here for Team Liquid Challengers, especially going into Array, unless they get the completion relatively early on before Array is able to get to 225 stacks, which they should be able to if they play for this. But Supernova don't need to give battle. Instead, they can choose to take both of the outer turrets.
They so far pushing top, but Faisal backs. Doesn't have teleport, and they finally engage on the Kenby. He's just going to get taken down. Kim down with a follow-up. Roamer sets up beautifully for that play, and they still have Chain of Corruption from spawn. So they just bully Supernova out of the river, and Dragon spawning in 10 seconds. That's their Dragon.
That is not how I expected to happen, but that is basically what I expected to happen. And now, Supernova, they're giving up the opportunity to farm these side lanes. They could have tried to play for the top lane turret and the bottom lane turret, and now they're going to take a consolation prize of maybe getting this top lane turret, but that is a situation where you're giving Team Liquid gold and a dragon when you did not need to. You don't get any dragon stacks from that. You don't get any dragon practice either, and that is just Team Liquid Challengers coming around with an all-out win.
Well done to Team Liquid Challengers. Roamer's having a second fantastic game. Kim down. Really good follow-up engage there as well. And everything's coming up for Team Liquid Honda Challengers. We were very critical of them in Game 1. Game 2, much better. Game 3 looking even better than that. I'm ready to say that. I know that Game 2 was probably more convincing in their wins, but feels like they're making better plays here. Speaking of, Jenkins all-out Shochi under the turret. Will take one shot, but has a Spirit Rush, so Shochi will be able to get out just fine. Jenkins pops the Ghost and won't find the kill.
Yeah, it's an ultimate trade, and Supernova also going to be starting up this Rift Herald, which will be given over by Team Liquid Challengers. No, Kim down stops the back. Still trying to decide if they want to go for this at all, but Kim going to be all
Keel's
alone.
Really far away. Keel's literally in the top alcove.
It is the alcove. What is the goal here? I think he's going to try and look for Shochi when he goes back towards the top side.
Oh, he's not in the alcove. Okay, sorry. False advertisement. Fake news. And he's just going to hit the wave, okay?
Yeah, this is something that Keel does more than just about any other junglers. He will go to a side lane and then be like, okay, well, this farm is mine, I suppose. Nobody else is here. Let's go ahead and push that one out. But still, gold lead has remained steady for about the past 10 minutes. And the big play is going to happen around this next dragon. 3.5 minutes. Array will be nowhere close. I'm going to guess he's about 120 stacks at 18 minutes in the game, meaning he'll probably get there around 25 or so minutes, which is way later. Oh, he was even lower than I thought.
111. 112. There we go.
Aha!
Credit where it's due. Let's catch up on Keel as well, if we get a chance to here, Kai. Because I wonder where the Kindred's at. Only 3. Hasn't even hit the first upgrade.
Yeah.
Wow. 2 happened during the fight, and the one was from earlier. Must have been a camp that he cleared, but still, not even at 4 stacks in 19 minutes. So both of the stacking champions very behind the curve.
And we'll see how much that matters, right? It's really nice to have more stacks on Kindred. The bonus range is good, but you still do close to the same amount of damage anyway. Array does not do anywhere near the same damage if you don't hit all of your stacks. And so we are getting a little bit more pressure coming out from Team Liquid Challengers. Remember, they can do the Baron relatively quickly. Actually, both teams can because they're both playing double marksman. But Team Liquid Challengers with the extra Blade of the Ruin King can be very aggressive around this Baron and spawns in 20 seconds.
Right now, Supernova controlling the vision, clearing out the flank wards that TLC have. There's that one near mid lane. And Faisal does have teleport. He's heading bot side to deal with Jenkins, who's pushing this in. He's actually just going to jump straight onto him, last slingshot in. And I don't think he's going to take the 1v1. But that's the word I'm talking about. Thank you, Kai, for highlighting that. If we do see a flank ward, it would be that, which would prevent the retreat to the mid lane. But Supernova, if they are retreating, they're probably retreating to the top turret, which is still fully healthy. So we'll see how the Baron plays out. So far, neither team seems super keen on starting it up, even though, yes, you're right, they do have the double marksman, so either one of them could look to take it and burn it pretty fast.
Yeah. So I'm still looking at this upcoming dragon. This is one of the things that Team Liquid has had issues with in the past. It has been something where they will generally go. They don't have very imaginative setups. It's usually Kim down trying to go for something, but just like I did in the last in-house I played, I will just go and face check bushes as the support and die because someone was setting up. Kim down will sometimes do the same thing, and that is one of the things that we will be looking at is if Team Liquid Challengers, are they going to play for the turn or are they going to play for the burn? They can play either way should they go for it, and especially since Shochi is up in the top side, it is going to be an opportunity where they can set up as much as they want around this upcoming dragon.
Shochi does get the full push, though. Jenkins will have to catch that. And he's going for a reset. I wonder how much gold Shochi has right now. Okay, picks up some more armor or magic penetration, rather. About even in the gold department for the mid laners. Nobody's having a crazy standout game this time around. Faisal got a solo kill, but since then, it's had a more quiet 1v1 in the side lane, despite having 3-1 and 2 KDA. But it doesn't feel like we have this main character taking over the entire game like we have in past games this evening.
True. This is definitely one where Faisal has an opportunity to be the main character here. He's not at the spot where he is unreasonably tanky, especially going into an on-hit style of Varus build, but he's the one who will have to be expected to get fights started here for Supernova, and he will take a while to kill between all the damage coming through from Team Liquid Challengers, but Supernova, they do buy themselves a little bit of space here in the mid lane, but they're also going to lose it almost instantly, and that does mean that Team Liquid Challengers can come in and challenge.
TLC with that push. Now they're grouping up. Supernova are on the other side, and they actually have their front line a little out of position here. Flash from Kimdown, very respectful as Shochi jumps in with the Spirit Rush, misses the charm. Now re-looking for Kimdown. They know that the support is completely split from the rest of the team, and that's the best engage that TLC have. So Supernova are actually playing with a lot of confidence right now. Faisal sees Kimdown. Can he get over the wall? Kimdown's got to reposition with the team. Yeah, just leave them alone over there. Now, there's the engage from Faisal. Shochi onto the backline, but he gets locked down. Shochi's going to die immediately. Meanwhile, Jenkins goes all out, pulls Array away from the rest of his team. Array is now repositioned. The Dragon can get some damage down. They're in the Lambs' fight. Everyone's trying to stay alive, but it's TLC that's walking away with it. It's TLC that are winning this fight. An ace for Team Liquid onto Challengers in what looked like a precarious position, but they hold the line and they will earn the Baron.
And this could very well be the game. They get everything they could ask for. And you see Supernova, the lines are so confused as Faisal ends up jumping in. Shochi has no ultimate. He can't get into the fight. And even though everything gets layered almost instantly, the Mom goes completely wide and Spawn is able to hit whoever he wants. Shochi doesn't have the damage. And as people go back and forth over this wall, there is nowhere safe to hide for the side of Supernova because Faisal, or Jenkins, is everywhere that he needs to be during this fight.
Spawn just lives the entire time as well. Shoutouts to Spawn for as soon as Shochi jumped in there, went for the flank, throws out Chain of Corruption, says, all right, we win this fight. Once Ari's dead, once they don't have the flank, it really comes down to Smolder. But then Jenkins with the all-out also makes that a non-factor for Supernova, and now they are really in the hole. That is Dragon Soul. That's a 5,000 gold deficit. And I just don't see Supernova bringing this one back. It looks like it's going to be an evening of upsets here, Josh. TLC are on the precipice of closing out this series.
Shochi can waste the ultimate trying to pick off Keel. It would have been great if it worked, but unfortunately, that's going to be another structure. Now, luckily for the side of Supernova, it is going to be a lot of structures that Team Liquid have to get through as Shochi misses another.
Good sidestep from Jenkins, but he should still go down here. Everybody's ganging up on him. Who gets the kill credit? Takes a while. It's Shochi that picks up that shutdown, but TLC are still taking more. They get some top jungle camps, they get another turret, and they walk out with 1,000 gold more than the last time we checked in.
But even with that gold lead coming through, we have to start asking how close is Array to that all-important 225. Suddenly, because of how tanky Jenkins and Kimdown are, they become significantly less tanky. He's still 40 away at this point.
Not good.
That is not good. I mean, he's starting to hit it at like 28-ish minutes from this position. That is a massive problem. Kangas, remember how we were talking about whether or not the Smolder buffs or the nerfs are going to matter a lot? He might not have 225 in time for Elder.
Ooh, now Shochi tried to push the side lane. Okay. Actually, Spirit rushes away from Kimdown, who's trying to predict it, but still chased down regardless. Keel picks up the kill.
Faisal also in trouble now as well.
He's got the elastic slingshot, should be able to get out, but actually he's running straight into where everyone else from TLC is. So he's going to try and buy time, but how much can he buy? Actually, TLC's not even worried about it. They're just pushing bot. They could have tried to pincer him, but it does take a long time to lock down the Zac, so it'll just be Jenkins that pushes him all the way away. They say that's fine. We don't need the kill. We'll take the structures.
Yeah, and Faisal not even going for a proxy either knows that if he were to do so, it would definitely be his death. Now, I'm curious to see how Team Liquid Challenge do try and end this. Over the course of this Rally Cry Baron buff, they have gotten 1, 2, 3, 4 structures taken down to Supernova, and their gold lead has ballooned to 7,500 gold. Now, they need to be careful with the fights that they take. If they take a fight that they are not sure that they are going to win, and you give extra stacks over to Array, suddenly it makes your game that much more difficult. You do not need to give any extra hurdles to this, because even with this massive lead, we've seen Smolder do crazier things from this position. 2 minutes left until the Elder Dragon spawns, and that is going to be Supernova's last stand.
One thing I think that we need to keep in mind, though, or at least I haven't talked about it too much, is the Kindred factor against the Smolder. Even if you get to that 225, you got to get in range to do your damage, and Kindred could press R and absorb it all. And then now you're in their range to engage onto you for the Varus, for the Hui, so you got to be very careful. Even if you get to that point as Array, it doesn't feel as Exodia game's over as other comps would make you feel, just because of how defensive Keel is, who has now hit 6 stacks, so 1 away from that second upgrade, and is still scaling himself into this game with 2 items, working on that third. Yeah, I mean, it could come down to this other fight. It's up in a minute 15.
And Team Liquid Challengers, they have been pretty good about picking people before the fights actually start. Array, we can make sure we keep the stacks on him, because it is the most important thing to track before this fight actually starts. 229.
6. He can get it during the fight also, because all he needs to do is hit his abilities. So at this point, if a fight breaks out and Array doesn't die instantly, he should get it just from ulting and hitting like a W.
Yeah, but look at where Jenkins is at the same time. He's going to be starting to hit the top lane inhibitor turret, creating some pressure, and if he pulls Supernova in a position where they do not want to be, it will be a much better position for them as they have to react defensively. And look at how many deep wards there are for Team Liquid Challengers to potentially go for a teleport flank.
Ooh, Array wants that wave, but they don't have vision. They don't know if it's safe to walk up, so they have to back up. They're TPing Faisal there as 20 seconds for the Dragon, so they want to prioritize just getting this bot wave shoved. They didn't fully correct the top wave, though, so that's going to be hitting them hard. Is now, can we approach? They're not quite coordinated. Like, they need Diamond and Shochi with everybody else. Maybe Shochi can stick on the flank, but you definitely want Diamond in front of Array, backing up Faisal's engage. Here we go. Now Supernova taking a more front-to-back traditional approach. TLC, they're playing with the blast cone over the wall, trying to hold the flank angle. Faisal's very cautious walking up, has Diamond behind him. All the engages on one side and all of Supernova's damage is on the other side. I'm a little worried here as Kim Down goes in. The engage is engaging, and Supernova just not quite ready. Shochi misses the charm yet again. Array has hit the big dragon, but it's too late. It's too little, and it's not going to be enough for Supernova. TLC will stop them in the fight with a much better setup around the objective. And now they can just walk these waves in. They have the pushing top wave. They might not even need the Elder Dragon.
Yeah, Array, he hit 225 in that last fight, but it did not matter. Team Liquid Challengers have too many members, and this could be the end of the game. As Supernova, they try and get everything set up. This is the perfect kind of spot for Array to do massive damage as they start coming through this choke point. But Array not able to get in the position that he needs to. As Mom does go out, his front line is already collapsing, and we see Faisal and Diamond already die, and by the time that there's all of these are coming through, by the time Array might be able to get some damage down, he has nobody to protect him. Mom can do nothing for you, Faisal can do nothing for you, and Team Liquid Challengers clean up this entire fight.
And if you are Nautilus, if you are Zach, I mean, it's a whole team issue right there. You can't just single anybody out, but you can't tank that long against Kraken Slayer, Black Cleaver Kindred, against Blade of the Ruin King, full attack speed Varus. Like, they will kill you faster than the Ahri's able to show up, and when we saw where that fight started, Shochi was just so far away. Array and Kenby were far away. They weren't ready, but now it's a Hail Mary. TLC... Okay, never mind.
No, they're not Hail Mary.
For a minute, it's been a long day. For a minute, I was like, are they going to get it? And I realized, nope, they're the ones that are winning this whole time. They will get the Baron, and that is Elder, that is Soul, that is everything.
So they have a minute and a half left of both game-ending buffs. They have so much time right now for Team Liquid Challengers to look to end this game. Ocean Soul, the Elder Dragon, and the Baron buff. If this is not where Team Liquid Challengers ends the game, suddenly, Supernova starts looking way more threatening because Array has already hit the point, but the question becomes, can he stay alive? These structures have taken so much damage, and Team Liquid Challengers is going to take this one down without even a fight.
They melt them so fast. Not even a chance for Supernova to try and stop that one, so it's going to come down to a Nexus turret defense. Team Liquid walking forward with the wave, the upset in their sights. This team struggled to come online during the regular season. Their bot lane struggled to be a threat, but this series, everybody has carried their weight, everybody has stepped up, and Team Liquid Honda Challengers are looking to continue in the upper bracket with one final Baron push. They get the top inhibitor, now they're looking for mid.
30 seconds of Elder left. for Team Liquid Challengers to try and find a for sure fight, but they don't have the range, they don't have the easy things to do. It's going to have to be Kim down, launching himself into the enemy team.
Big damage on Kinby. He's got to back off. But
15.
I don't know if they'll have the Elder Dragon. Yeah, I don't think they're going to have it with this next wave. So Supernova will get a fair fight. But will they be able to keep their turrets alive long enough as 2 waves are going to crash at the same time here? And the wave clear from TLC is just absurd. They're hitting the turrets.
Here it
One
comes.
about to go down. Mom comes in. Can Array do the damage? He's in a really good spot to start things off. But Jenkins gets to a better position. And the front line is just melting for Supernova. Array gets 1 kill. But there's nobody to block for him now. There's nobody to stand in front as Jenkins will chase him down. TLC make magic happen. And they'll claim the upset, advancing in the upper bracket.
I know I said this was the one more likely to be an upset, but I didn't think we'd get 2 of them, and I did not think we'd get it in this fashion coming through from Team Liquid Challengers. The fact that we saw both Disguised and TLC take down the big demons is throwing this entire playoffs into disarray. Everybody looks beatable. It looks like everybody can suddenly win, and with so many more matches left to go, Team Liquid Challengers are spiking at the exact right time.
The fact that all of our series so far in the quarterfinals of the upper bracket went to 3 games. 2 of them were seeding upsets. You're right. Everybody is mortal right now. We went into this playoffs thinking like, oh, is this like a 2-horse race? Is it basically between Maryville and FlyQuest, and we'll see who's able to kind of challenge them and make it into top 4? No. We are now in a situation where it feels like anybody could take it, and that is just ridiculous. We're going to send it to a short break while we come back and chat with one of the victorious members from Team Liquid Honda Challengers right after this. So we'll see you there.
Introducing the new
Hello and welcome back, everyone, for our post-series interview with the victorious jungler from Team Liquid Honda Challengers. Keel, congratulations on the win, the upset, the reverse sweep, all the accolades that you just won. How does it feel? How's the team vibe going after that? I want to hear what the celebration was like once you knew that you won it.
I think everyone's pretty happy, to come back from game 1 where it felt pretty hard to play. No one was mad. I think we've leveled up so much, so everyone's pretty happy.
We gotta ask then about how the first game ended, because Array just kind of walked in and ended the game. What was the comms like in those ending moments where it felt like a panic to suddenly try and get back?
It went from yo, just take any fight in mid to base for 20 seconds straight, base, and then I don't know. I gotta learn the Korean word for base maybe. Go home.
In
go
moments
home, yeah.
like that, because it's a new team, it's a new squad, everyone's taking some time to get comfortable and used to playing with each other. Those stressful moments, who is making the most noise in comms? I love getting that peek behind the screen to see like who's the one calling for, we got to get back to base, or we need to find the fight. Like who's the one leading that?
I think with stuff like that, Jenkins is probably the most, but it is so funny, like scrims to stage, like how much, like the amount of words being spoken in that last game compared to like an average scrim is pretty funny. Just everyone's fully in it. It's a good feeling. Yeah.
Nice. Now, we know that you said that you guys feel as though you're scaling and hitting your stride at exactly the right time. I'm kind of curious, what have you guys done and what has your coach Mash done in particular to help you guys prepare for this upcoming playoffs?
I mean, our year started like we couldn't close out any lead, right? And like you're just throwing extreme leads or macro is really bad. And I think that's been like a complete 180. Like our Baron sequence is pretty good. Everyone is like knows their role more, I feel like. Seems like we're all pretty on the same page. And at the start, maybe just we're not as connected.
I think that is one of the clear things that will take a couple of games, a couple of weeks for a team to get together. So it's cool to see it's coming together for playoffs where, you know, regular season, you made it into playoffs. Now it's the time to perform. And speaking of, before we went live, you mentioned that you felt that your half of the bracket was the more competitive side. There's, you know, higher average level of teams over here. And I think we saw that because even DSG got the upset win over at MU. So I want to hear your thoughts on DSG. They're going to be your next round opponents. Disguise the defending champs. What do you think about them?
They were almost relegated, and then we were almost relegated, and then now we're both in upper bracket finals. So I don't know. I like them all. They're good guys, and it'll be fun. Yeah.
Okay, upper bracket semifinals. I want to be clear.
Sorry.
You still got to beat them to make it upper bracket finals. But you are on the path there. So any final words you have for anybody at home who's cheering you on?
Shout out my mom. She stayed up late to the 1 a.m. game. And yeah, shout out to my team too. Everyone played well.
Shout out to you, Keel, as well. Thank you for coming on and chatting with us. Best of luck going into prep for your next series. Everyone say bye, Keel, in chat. Give us some 07s. And that means we had the dream scenario happen, Josh. It is 10:20 p.m. PST. If you are on the East Coast, you're a real one right now because you stayed up pretty much all of Friday watching 5 LCS games and 6 NACL games. That was a marathon.
That's a lot of games coming through, and it really goes to show that Challengers League is wide open. FlyQuest dropped a game to AoE, Team Liquid and Disguise coming up with a couple of big upsets as well, and of course Wildcard and Fear going to Game 3. Every single one of our quarterfinals so far has gone to our maximum number of games, even if our production team is lying to you, because Supernova definitely picked up a game there. But either way, overall, we have our 1, 5, 6, and 7 seeds progressing up in the top side, but that just means that the bottom side, Maryville and Supernova, one of these two teams who we were looking at maybe winning the whole thing, are now going to get knocked out 0-2 in this double elimination bracket.
The facts that going into today, you and I had a conversation before the cameras went live, before Twitch was on, that, you know, these are two of the teams that should be considered favorites. We need to consider Supernova one of the top dogs, even though we've been talking pretty much exclusively about FlyQuest and Maryville. And now you're right. One of them's going home in their next series. We cannot have both advance. That is a crazy world that we live in right now. But only one can make the dream happen. Only one can make the push to go all the way through the lower bracket and hope for that live finals, which, reminder, we got live finals, everybody. You at home can buy tickets right now. It's only $5 if you already subscribed to the channel. That's awesome. If you don't, you can, because it's going to support the players. But that's $5 is as much as it costs to subscribe to a Twitch channel to help support the teams and the players. So if you're in the LA area or you want to come hang out, make sure that you get your tickets. They are live. The link's right below. You can also check out the Path to LCS Twitter account. Josh, you're going to be there, right? I think
I'll be there. I mean, I'll do my best. You know, I'll see if my work schedule works around it.
Yeah. Maybe I'll have to take some time off.
I mean, I just gotta say, with all this coming through, it costs less than a boba to come out and say hello to all of the players in the area. Make sure you come through. It's going to be a fantastic time, and cheer on all of the future of LCS.
Yep, the future of the LCS always starts after the LCS, and it's going to be decided April 1st at that live finals. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and supporting the players. It was a marathon of a day, so thank you especially to production for keeping the gears rolling behind the scenes. Thank you, Josh, for being an incredible co-caster for the day, and as always, the players for providing us such entertaining games. We'll be back tomorrow, same place, same time, as long as LCS ends at the same time. Whenever they're done, we start up, and we'll see you there.